Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Peter on Thassa's Lash versus Rich on PokéBUG. I think that's actually supposed to be like Pokemon. Rich can fill in the comments. I know he wanted to give credit to the streamer that he got the list from. So feel free and we'll favorite that if you want to respond in the comments, Rich. Wasteland taking out Shelldock Isle. Basic Island replaces it. Shelldock Isle, such a strong card in the deck, though Wasteland is all over the place, so it is vulnerable. Mana base, though, pretty solid for this build, and we got a Chalice at 1. That's going to shut off Brainstorms, fetch lands, go way down in value without your Brainstorm. Daze stops Sylvan Library, which would have been huge. Sylvan Library can absolutely bury a deck like Thassa's Lash. I don't think I'd have any concern about drawing like literally just 4 extra cards off of that. Just get as many cards as you can. Shuffle away, just maximize card advantage, and then Euro on top of it. Whew. Impulsing in response to Euro. But that just becomes crippling card advantage. Sylvan Library, plus gaining the life, letting you draw even more cards, plus Euro's drawing your cards. That would have just been over. As it is, this Euro is going to be a big problem. Narset, it's a solid answer. Does stop the card drawing from Euro for at least his next ETB and his first attack. So, pretty excellent response there. Dryad Arbor being fetched. And I actually don't know what's in this list. We'll see. Kind of look like unlimited duels. I don't know if that's the lighting. Wasteland takes out what appears to be a hollowed fountain. And here is Oko. Euro. No more Oko. Here's Euro. Gaining some life, putting in a land. No cards, though, as Narset's got that taken care of. She'll also deny the next card draw. So pretty big swing. I mean, Narset denying 2 card draws and getting 2 cards into Peter's hand. I mean, it's pretty impressive. Shelldock Isle takes another look. And what do we got? Like 5 cards in the graveyard, it looks like. 4 cards. 4 cards in the bin for Peter. Paradigm Shift. Pretty dangerous. And 6 damage able to go through. At least doesn't soak up the 6 damage from the Euro as well. That would have been quite a life for Narset, but she did plenty. Waterlogged Grove draws a card. And this is dangerous times. Once this Euro starts generating card advantage for Rich, it's going to be really difficult to come back from that. I mean, you can hope for a lot of 1 casting cost cards to find their way into Rich's hand, but even if that's the case, they'll often just be blue cards to pitch to force a will. He's not going to turn his nose up on any type of card advantage here. It's going to be about holding on for just a couple of more turns as this unlikely tag team clear the rest of Peter's life. Thought Lash. That's going to absorb a lot of damage. Combo pieces that randomly save you. That merits a hard cast. Force a will. Peter's fighting back. He's got a force of his own. And does Rich have any more counter magic? Oh, he doesn't. Wasteland stops the Shelldock Isle from what would potentially just win the game. Peter utilizing Thought Lash preventing damage, preserving some of his life. That Ancient Tomb is going to be important. Having as much life as possible for that would be good. And now Peter needs to resolve Thassa's Oracle or Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. One of those cards. Laboratory Maniac no longer makes the cut in these decks. And end of turn. Looks like Peter getting rid of a bunch of cards, but not all. He jams a Thassa's Oracle. And Rich is going to fetch. He's got a Force of Will, perhaps with Veil of Summer backup. And it looks like that's going to do it. I mean, couldn't have had Veil of Summer resolved because of that Chalice. I'm not sure what that fetch was about. It kind of signaled Veil of Summer, but it just doesn't work in that setting. But regardless, PokéBUG taking down the first one. Euro, just an absolute juggernaut that game. All right, Peter, Island go. Misty Rainforest cracks for Rich. And he gets a Tropical Island. Yeah, those totally look unlimited to me. For a Ponder. I do like unlimited duels. FVB is nice too. I mostly play Revised, just to keep the good stuff for all my customers. Wasteland actually targeting the Waterlog Grove, but Peter able to draw a card. And I don't think that's a winning battle. I really don't. Shelldock Isle comes down. There's very few situations where that's going to end up being the correct play. Shelldock Isle would have been a much more acceptable target for Wasteland, and the fact that Peter's able to draw a card off of that just really ticks things one notch in his favor. Thought Lash now coming down, no mana floating, and this eats a Force of Negation. Peter lets that slide. We'll see if he actually could have fought over that over the next couple of turns, perhaps. It looked like he thought about it. Maybe he has the ability to play through this. Perhaps a paradigm shift in hand. The Thought Lash is a pretty welcome card to have on board. Pretty significant amount of utility that people overlook. Of course, the damage prevention is relevant. A lot of times people don't even think about it because it's a combo piece, but no, it's very legit in stopping you from losing the game. And then on top of that, you've got the ability to exile cards off the top of your library, so things like Brainstorm or Ponder really become the best that they possibly can be, getting any undesirable cards off the top of your deck. It is not just a dead combo piece, which so many kind of A-B combos have, things with very little utility, but when they come together, you just win the game. Force of Negation, stopping Jace the Mind Sculptor this time while tapped out. Another Shelldock Isle. And these can snag key combo pieces like Thassa's Oracle or Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, or just counter magic. There's a lot of things that you can potentially put under a Shelldock Isle that you'll be very happy about once you have very few cards left in your library. Rich up to 5 mana, hard cast Force of Will territory. Thought Lash now. That gets met with a hard cast Force. Kind of what that 5 mana signals. I mean, what else could they have? They'd be playing it. Basic Island, and yet another Thought Lash. This one meets a Force and Negation, and that's where this card is so strong. In these kind of train wreck situations where it's draw go, having those extra cancels in your deck is incredibly good, which is part of the reason why Force and Negation has crept up as much as it has. Getting close to $100 for Force and Negation. Now, that card always seemed undervalued to me back when it was like 25 bucks. That just seemed completely absurd to me, but there was a lot of packs floating around. That is not the case anymore. Impulse from Peter. We'll see if Force and Negation ends up being in Modern Horizons 2. My guess is that it's not going to be, but we'll see. Maybe do an old border version of it. Just melt people's faces. Impulse off of the Ancient Tomb. And now Paradigm Shift, getting all of those combo pieces back if this resolves. And there are a lot of them. Though at least Force and Negation has that extra line of text there, exiling the card. Very significant. Small Graveyard is now the library. And gonna go ahead and jam a Chalice. Looks like Veil of Summer. Is that played in response? Didn't actually catch that interaction. Veil would make sense to cast in response to Paradigm Shift if you don't have a counter, potentially, to try and draw it. If you don't take that line, then you could always opt to play it in response to the Chalice just to make sure that it's not dead in hand. It seems totally reasonable to cantrip there. Here's a Teferi. And Teferi could just draw a card here for Peter, which I'd imagine it should do. He's not going to be casting any spells, but you don't have to return a permanent. It's up to one permanent, if I'm remembering the card correctly. So Peter potentially down a card, though the Shelldock Isles now Thought Lash. Is he out of Shelldock Isles? Did they all get wastelanded? I think they did. This Life from the Loam from Rich is going to continue to go after Peter's mana base. So Thought Lash, slightly redundant. It's already set up a game-winning library. Baleful Strix, not the type of creature removal you want in this matchup. Tarmogoyf, that's a little bit more beef there. I can do some serious damage. And going after Peter's life total instead of the Teferi. Dryad Arbor as a fetchable land is just hilarious when it snags something like a Dark Confidant. Impulse might as well be a demonic tutor here. And here's the Shelldock Isle. But that's just going to get wastelanded with this Life from the Loam. Oh, and I guess that's going to do it. I guess that's going to do it. I don't know if perhaps that interaction was missed with the fact that Wasteland would be able to be recurred from Life from the Loam, but that is my guess there, as there was just not seen to be any way out as Rich takes that one down. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.